on this right here.
Mm-hmm.
In the black community, we have way more mass shootings than anybody
For
else.
real.
They just don't categorize it as mass shootings. That's the problem. I went to a school, and in my school, we had not only security guards, we had police officers, metal detectors, and we had a mini police station in my school. Guess what we still had? Shootings, robbings,
You got a point.
assaults.
That's true. But I guess because it's in our community, they don't look at it like that. They just look at it like that's on them. That's their own community having an issue. Because, I mean, we shoot all the time. So I get that, but I don't feel like it's the same. He literally went his ass to that fucking school. And that don't happen in high schools in the hood. Somebody, I mean, unless you got beef with somebody, but they usually going after their target. They're not spraying up a whole fucking school. You know
Absolutely,
what
they
I'm
are.
saying?
They are. They are.
I ain't never heard of that. Not with
I've
me coming
lost,
up. I ain't never.
yes, I've lost at least 5, 6 friends that died at school
Damn.
of being shot.
Damn.
Yes. And we, like I said, they don't look at it that way. Now understand this. Chicago, mass shooting 8 days ago. It's not making the headlines. Right? This is the craziest thing. Black folks.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Let me pull it up right quick. And the thing is that it doesn't get categorized as mass shooting.
So it's just us who they don't care about, and we all knew that.
Well, this is the thing. Why should we care about if they care about us when we don't care about us? This is why we have to have our own community. If we want to be serious about having our own community, we have to care about us.
Exactly.
We have to
Listen,
govern us.
listen. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try to be as polite as I can. It's no fucking changing the black race. The shit
That's
gets
not right,
worse.
and
Listen
but
to
that's a
the
bad
music,
thing.
the women, the men. This shit is dead. It's over. It's done. It's no coming back. Like, I'm a big Bobby Hemmett fan for one. This shit is over.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
literally no coming back. We are sinking deeper. Yeah, we getting more money and shit, but
We fucked up.
mhm. And honestly, like, this is not something that I will honestly debate about because we would go on and on and on. We just the people they don't fucking care about because we are really the kings and queens, but they list us as minority. So we are conditioned and it's a spell on us. So it's really no coming back. And the shit is trickling down to the children. They have that same slave mentality coming up. And it's just getting worse and worse
But
because
why though?
the
It,
music, the movies, the images that they have out there of us. They paying these artists, these women to sell their self, talk about selling pussy and shit. And now we just making it to where we putting all this shit in kids' faces, sexuality. It was hidden for us when
don't
we were
forget.
children. Now they
Well,
throwing this smack dead in their face. They don't
well,
care.
well. Don't forget too. The reason why, and James said this before. The reason why is the generation it is what it is now because the generation before us. So, if anything, we need to blame the household these kids are getting raised in as well. Um,
Go ahead. Finish up, man.
oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like with the race shit, like, and and you say, you got this spell on us. Like, yeah, we do, but the spell, you know who the spell is? Is us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't expect, so this is my problem when it comes with black folks, right? Like, we will fucking say how we don't care what people think about us. Like, we this and that. We kings and queens, but we don't even fucking like each other. So how can we fucking beg one group to like us or accept us? We don't even do the same shit for us. That's my main issue right there.
I
We
feel
have
like
to we have to start liking each other first. We
that's not
can't
gonna happen.
and this is why we shouldn't fucking beg white folks or anybody else for fucking respect, saying to
I
accept
don't.
us, all this other shit. Like,
And we shouldn't because
we look goofy.
it's gonna always be controversy and a division in black neighborhoods with black people with black families because you got to think about it, we're conditioned to think that we're in competition with each other. We're conditioned to think, I got to get ahead. I can't share this. I got to do it first. I got to let me get up. I got to prove something. That's just how it is. So if it's going to always be like that, we ain't going to never be in unity because we all looking at each other like, I got to beat you to it.
So hold on, let me go ahead. That Crawford chick, she said, there are more white people in the world than black people.
What?
We make up a small percentage. So yes, they will focus on us. We're the better story.
Girl, it
And
ain't
then she
more white
say,
people.
they don't want things to focus on them. So this is the thing. I can agree with everything that you guys are saying. This is the thing. And it goes to not a solution, because first, before we can even have a solution, we have to understand and we have to come to grips with what the reality is. So when we talk about Black Americans and we talk about the plight of Black Americans,
I know where you're going with this.
we have to look at us being at a point of being proud, first and foremost, of being Black Americans.
I'm not even labeling myself as a black shit, okay?
Well, I'm saying,
honestly, you dead in the Constitution with that. So I'm gonna disagree with, from this whole point on. I gotta disagree with you because that's one thing Black people don't know.
No,
Once
listen,
you label yourself as Black, you can't be proud of that shit.
I can agree with that also, but let me break it down. Let me break it down because I'm on that too. But this is the thing. I understand. I know the whole history about the word Black. I know the whole history about African American, colored, nigga, Negro, all of these. That's not what the issue is. The issue is I wouldn't give a fuck if we was calling ourselves purple people. We have to come to a consensus as a people. If we gonna call ourselves Black, regardless of what the history of it was, and we say this is what we're gonna do, and we say from now on we're gonna call ourselves Black people, because all it is just a title, right? If we come to that consensus and we say I'm proud of being Black, it'll change the world because of how we are. We will show that we're proud of being Black.
We are proud. Don't you see the media? We run the media.
We are not proud. We don't like being Black. Our music shows it. We are the only people in the world, the only group of people in the world that has music celebrating the demise of each other.
True.
Celebrating all of the words, everything that we sit back and use as cliches are always like every hook line that we have has a hook line always talking about the shortcomings of us as a whole.
Okay, let me cut you off right there. Don't you know that the music that is put out is not the only music? That's just what they promote, and everyone thinks that that's the popular.
So we saying who though?
We don't control it. Don't you know? What was his name? Lupe Fiasco, who couldn't release his album because it was too.
And why don't we control it?
We don't control it because they ain't gonna let our Black asses up there. We are not the higher ups because
no, we can control
most of the laws of the land. They don't control the Constitution.
How you figure we can't control it?
We lost. Listen, we lost when it came to that because we did not write that Constitution. And as long as you are listed as Black, African American, you are dead. You are property. You are nothing.
Well, this is the thing.
So when we go out and we actually making songs, it's not just whole songs and tricking and kill this nigga and fuck this bitch. It's not. That's not the only thing. They just promote that more because sex sells.
So I ask again, who is they?
The Jews, the white men, like we.
So why do we give them power to promote our shit?
We don't give them power. We don't own it. They own this shit. They wrote the laws of the land.
No, what I mean by this is that when we talking about entertainment, let's go with specifically. Let's go with music. How is it that we give our power away to people that are not us?
How? So we ain't even giving a fuck about Cardi B and all of them that sold they sold. I honestly feel like if you would let somebody tell you how to narrate your life, like Kanye was going crazy talking about, I want to be the narrator now. I want to tell my story. That's because they're telling them what to do. I don't give a fuck about them people. I
No,
don't
what
give
I'm
a damn about a
no, but listen,
celebrity.
listen to the question that I'm asking. We have all autonomy over our art. We do. We have
Think
all
so?
autonomy over it. I know so.
Okay.
If I go and write a song right now
Mm-hmm.
and I want to put that song out, I can put it out and they don't have to own my motherfucking music. They don't. I can put it out. So I go back to ask you, how is it that they can own my music? I'm just trying to break it down and so we can actually unpack it.
They
How do they
own
have
your
that power?
music. If you own your music, then okay. But they're not going to put your music out there. Let's say you want to get it out there, you get a
I'll put
million
it out there.
views, or you get 1 million views or whatever. If they don't like it, they are going to shut it down.
Okay, now they're not going to shut it down, but they would keep it coming out of what? They're keeping it coming out of what they funnel it through, right?
Right. Television.
So then they will
right. Shadow ban. That's why a few Instagram pages get shadow banned.
Now hold on.
What they doing?
What's stopping me from taking it and getting me a venue over here on in downtown?
You can
get me
do
a
that.
venue.
You
right.
can do that, but then they're gonna still come fuck with you, find ways to shut it down. They're gonna keep doing it. This is what I'm trying to get you.
You saying that? Are you saying that the Jews? You saying that the Jews and the other races are doing this? Yeah. So I can tell you, no. I'm gonna tell you like this. Do you know music? They have a genre of music called underground music. Do you understand why it's called underground music?
Yes.
They stay out of the limelight of mainstream media.
But okay, let's say this then. The people who make music, most of them, they're making music to become rich. Okay. So
that's where I'm getting to. So when you want something that somebody else's has, when you have everybody, you got family members, you got friends, you got people you went to school with, people that you done had everybody. If those people are not sitting back and buying and purchasing your shit, guess what you don't have? Leverage. You don't. There's no fucking way that black folks should not be able to come up doing these days right now. There's nobody, in my opinion, and from my lens, there's nobody that's setting out just to be out here to do something against me because I'm fucking black. There are people that's out here that wants to make a dollar. This is a capitalistic world. And when your ass is not doing what I want you to do, I don't care if you're white, black, or whatever it is, and I got the power, you don't do what I say do, I'm going to get your ass. Now, this is the thing. What I can agree with you on is that there are people that says, listen, this is the narrative you got to follow. This is the shit you got to do. But if you don't do the hustle the way we say do the motherfucking hustle, guess what we're going to do? We're going to take away the things that you want. The reason why I went to the underground music is because most of the cast that's in that underground music, they ain't trying to be rich like that. All they want to do is get somebody to appreciate their art.
And you want to know what
they gonna make it? They gonna make it a different way.
The higher ups can give a fuck about the underground. You want to know why? Because most of it is not going to reach the mass media, and as long as it stay like that, they can give a fuck. They are worried about the ones that can actually put a message out and people listen.
That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't want it if you understand that if you understand that main media is devil. That's hell.
So why y'all talking about
everybody that's in
change then? That's why I was saying I
didn't hear what you said.
Because there's not going to be a change. The black community is not going to change. It's going to get worse. And then I can give a fuck about it because honestly, the shit just not going to change. And the only reason why I think like that is because I done been in damn near every part of life. Okay, seriously.
So what's wrong with just being an American then?
I'm sorry?
What's wrong with just being an American?
How you gonna list yourself as an American and you black?
I'm American. I consider myself African
American.
I'm definitely not African American. But I would never see. That's what we have a problem with. I would never call myself an African American.
What does your birth certificate say?
My birth certificate says black.
You are dead.
Regardless, none of them are good
But you
narratives if we
see,
don't
that's
have
the
a
thing.
consensus.
See, when you want to speak about being proud to be black, hell no, don't be proud to be black. What the fuck is black? That ain't shit.
No, it's not even about being proud of being any of that. I don't have to be proud. It is what it is. I don't care about that. You know what I'm proud of being? Me. I'm proud of being James. I'm proud of being, but as far as my race goes, I can give a fuck about what my race is right now.
Right.
Because
So,
it's about my nationality. It's about
your
me
nationality.
being able to be a person of value to my daughters, being a person of value to my mother, my friends, you, anybody else. I don't give a fuck about that because it's already been fucked up, right? So when we talk about this, let's go with African American. Do you know how old African American, the term African American is?
Not that old.
It's very young. It is in the 80s.
So what were we before that then?
Black.
We were Negro.
And before we were black, no.
Which is black.
This is what we were. We were Negro.
Black.
No.
Black.
We were Negro.
No, that came from, I believe it was Spain. That's why they do blackface when they had a parade.
When they did that, that's a whole different. I know what you're talking about, but that was in the Netherlands. What I'm saying is this: we were Negroes, niggas. Black has always been there. The reason why we were called black wasn't because they named us black. We were called black because you had white people that said they are white. They had to delineate themselves from Native Americans because you had Native Americans and white people, and which is still what we can consider black people.
We weren't even Negroes and black at one point. They had no race for us. We were a number.
We're still not a race.
We're
still not a race. We are nationality.
Was black, Negro, whatever. And first, before,
and when you say they,
white people, but before they even gave us that, we were slaves.
But when you say they,
you were a number and you were listed as a slave. Okay, so
but that's not every one of us, though. That's the craziest thing. That wasn't every one of us.
My family ain't even black. My family is Native American, but yet
but that's still black.
They know it's not.
Let me tell you something. You go to Louisiana and you see them goddamn Indians out there stumping with all them big ass feathers and shit. They're Indian. They're Native American. I have a great grandfather and a great grandmother that is Native American. Guess what they still is?
They're listed as black.
No, they're not.
Most of they're listed as Native. My whole family is listed as black, and they are Native American. They're Moors, and they are listed as black. And the reason being is because so you don't get no fucking wealth. They can take that shit from you because you are black. They changed you from a slave to being black. And the reason why I'm saying to you to never tell another black person to be proud to be black, because that shit is horrible. You need to learn how to actually go and learn to pay for your bloodline to be tested and figure out what you really are.
It doesn't matter if you listen.
But we would have more power if we did that. We figured out who we are. That's where the power comes from.
Not now.
That's why we don't get reparations, because why? You're black. You're nothing. You're dead. But they're not teaching people about figuring out who you are.
But not now. Not now. That is not understanding that you're whatever it is that you are. You got to remember, most of us do not even understand what we are nationally. If you don't know your nationality, then don't nobody give a fuck about your race. If you don't understand what your nationality is, I have been all around this world and don't nobody ask me what's my race. Guess what they ask me? What are you? What is your nationality? I'm American. You know why? Because when I go over there to France, they'll think that I'm French. When I go over to the Netherlands, they'll think I'm Dutch. That's the wrong
way to even say something to somebody that's learning or listening, because you still saying to go be a proud black motherfucker from there.
No, I never said being proud of being none of that shit. I said you just be what it is that you are. I don't listen, black. Well, this is my whole thing about black.
When Jamaicans
I
come
understand
over here,
that being black is being a person without.
Let me say this really quick. When Jamaicans come here, when any other nationality from another country come here, and we ask them, "What are you?" They tell us who they are. We can't do that. I'm not about
they don't even know.
Say I'm American. Why?
Most
When
of them don't
America
even
has been
know.
oppressed on Black people for years, so why would I be like, oh, I'm an American? Figure out who you are, and then you can say, oh, this is what I am.
But most of them don't know. Most of them don't know. You go over there, you go over to the Netherlands. They can tell you what they are thus far, but they can't tell you. Understand this.
Mhm.
These motherfuckers are speaking the Queen's English, which means that they were conquered
But
too.
they probably
Just
Yeah.
like when you go over to the Dominican Republican and
Yep.
you see them motherfuckers, they were conquered too.
Yep.
When you go over there to right next door to them, one of the most poorest motherfucking countries that's out there that was whooping ass, Haiti. Guess what happened with them? The world turned on them. They can't trade with nobody. They can't do shit. And they're still in motherfucking debt with France. Since the 18, what was it? 18, 16, some shit like that.
Yep.
So when you talking about this is why I said, fuck race. It's about your nationality. It's about your
We're just
nationality. Where the
hated.
fuck are you now?
But the way we're
Huh?
hated, honestly, I could give a fuck about another country, but I know when they come here, they know who they are. They have it on paper. We don't. I'm saying, as American, I am not proud to be Black. I'm not proud to be American. But if we all knew exactly who we are here in America, Black people can win if we know who we are.
I tend to disagree with that.
Because how
Okay.
you gonna get reparations if you don't know who you are and you still saying you're Black, you're American, you're African American?
Okay, so this is the thing. Reparations, first and foremost, is the repair of your land.
And we're not gonna ever get that because
We don't have any
native,
land. We never claimed land.
you
We
would have
never.
to be a native to do that.
No. You have to have land. You have to have this. We have to look. If you look at everybody else, right? Japan, Hiroshima, we had to pay them because we tore their shit up. They had to pay us, not us, yeah, basically us, Hawaii, when they tore that land up. When you got the Indians, the reason why they get reparations because this is their native land. They got reparations. They got a repair. Not even all of them.
So
That's why you have people that sit back and say that legally I'm and you got white people that say legally I am Native American because I'm 2% Native American, and then they can claim
right. So
that
that right
because
there, let
people
me
have.
ask you something. What do you think you are? You think you came from Africa or where?
I know that my people had came from Africa. I know this, but I also know that I got people that's been here on this land right here. Like I just
What do you
told you,
mean this
I
land? They've
got
been
my great grandfather is Native
right.
American. My great grandmother is Native American.
So let's go back to what you said about actually owning land. Your family own land. So don't you want to go and prove what you are, your nationality, and then now because you can prove that you're Native American and have I think like 60% or something like that. You actually don't have to pay taxes. You get so much free shit. Like if Black people knew this, because most of the slaves that was here in America were Native American.
Nope, I tend to be.
You disagree with
That's
that?
It
different
was
too.
on. It's white. It
Definitely.
was on white people too,
No,
right?
no. If they were here, and if you look at the Constitution, if they were here, you could not make them a slave.
You crazy.
They're indigenous. Let me tell you what happened. They got kidnapped. If you've seen the movie,
So how
12
they
Years a
can't make
Slave.
him a slave then? What are you saying?
Listen to me. Listen to me now.
Hold on, real.
If you watch the movie 12 Years a Slave, my man, what did he tell people? I'm indigenous to this land. I'm indigenous.
Yeah.
He was a fiddler.
Yeah.
He made a living. How did he end up becoming a slave? He was kidnapped.
So
They took him down south. They kidnapped him. Understand this. The Civil War was about slavery.
Yes.
Y'all got motherfuckers.
No, it
y'all
wasn't. The Civil War was not about slavery. Really deep
Let me
down,
know
it
what
was
it was.
not about slavery. It was really
What was it?
a separation between the South and the North.
In the North. And where was it?
It wasn't about slavery. It was because what was it? Something about the currency or something like that. The South was
And what was the number one currency?
Huh?
What was the number one currency?
It was
What was the
us.
number one
It was
currency?
us. But
Yes, it was
wasn't
about
wasn't the
slavery.
South losing at the time and the North wasn't? Like when it came to
No.
when it came to them actually having more money, or what was it?
No. So what happened was this. In the South,
Mm-hmm.
it stayed warm the majority of the year.
Okay. It was that.
So they can grow cotton, oranges. They can grow a lot of the things that they couldn't grow up north. They also can have slaves that can work all year round. Up north, if that was to happen, guess what your slaves end up having? Frostbite. They have heat strokes, all these
But they
different
didn't
things
have
because they're not
slaves.
acclimated to the weather.
They-
However, so no, up north, what they had to do was pay. Got to remember, before slavery, before they ended up taking the Africans, the Atlantic slave trade was how they got the slaves here. So that didn't mean that they just started slavery. It was already slavery already here in America. They already had slaves. It didn't have anything to do with color
That was
because
all
they
over
had
the
white
world,
slaves,
though.
they had Indian, but they didn't call them slaves. What did they call them?
Prisoners,
Indentured servants.
servant,
Indentured
prisoners.
servants.
You serve them on a certain amount of time being a servant because that was considered jail.
It's just, you know what an indentured servant is here in moderately? A motherfucker that got a motherfucking credit card. That's what the indentured servant is. So when you talking about,
yeah, that makes sense.
listen, I get money from you, and that's what an indentured servant was there, where it's like, I don't have any money, but this is what I'll do. If you can get me goods, foods, cotton, whatever it is that they needed, what I would do, me and my family will, for a year, 2 years, 3 years, we will come do whatever it is that you need. And you have to work that debt off. And if I die, my debt is transferred to my damn kids, to my wife, to my family. That didn't have anything to do with whether they were black or white. That has something to do with if you could or if you couldn't. It's the same way on how it is right now. It is it's built off of capitalism. And that's what it was. So when you had this whole concept of slavery, it wasn't the fact that they had slaves. It was the fact that they had slaves and they did not take care of their slaves like human beings. They were hanging them, burning them live, castrating the men, raping the women, all these different things that they were doing. It was inhumane
Because
for
it
them
was
to
us.
treat these.
We got treated
I'm saying,
because
right.
we were
So,
black.
so now watch this though. They had to do it. You know why? Because we some big, strong motherfuckers.
To
And when it came
condition
down
us, and
to
that's
it,
what I said earlier. We have a
no, we wasn't indigenous. This is the Africans, the ones that didn't speak English. This is the ones that were speaking any language that they had over there, whatever country that they had from Africa. Now you got to remember, there was only 800,000 people that came over to America.
okay.
Guess where the other ones went? All across the world. So that's why when you go to France, you see a bunch of black motherfuckers over there. When you go over there to Britain, guess what you got? Because guess who was the number one colonizers?
Cool.
People in England. That's why when you see motherfuckers sitting back, what is the Queen doing? Why is Harry and all them? Them motherfuckers got rich off of that shit. They colonized the whole fucking world. It wasn't Americans. You just an American now. But back then, no. Why you think in America we speak English? Because if you go anywhere around the world, for instance, when you go to Mexico, you want to find out who conquered Mexico? See what language they speak. What language do they speak? Spanish. Who conquered them? The Spaniards.
Didn't Haiti?
Hispanic. Why do you think they call them Hispanics? If you go over there to Puerto Rico, what do they speak? Spanish. You go over there to France. I mean, you go over there to Haiti, they speak French. Not only do they speak French, but they speak Spanish too.
Yeah.
These are the people that conquered. If you want to find out who conquered your motherfucking ass, see what language you speak. You go over there to what is it? It was one place where they speak Portugal. You see where that goes. It's always been that way. So us as black folks, we have to pretty much understand what our history is and understand that, yeah, that shit happened. Now, what do we do now? 2022, where's our starting point at now? We have to have a starting point. And if we have a point of contingent of fuck it, we just fucked up and that's it, then that's what it's going to be. That's going to be our
We got two
reality.
ways of thinking because honestly, this shit is over. Honestly, it's literally like it's so many different
I can
groups
actually
of
see your side on
people.
that.
It's so many different groups of people in the world, and I personally agree with how you said everything. But I mean, honestly, it's not changing. I'm not even about.
I agree.
I'm not even about to try to be like, oh, kumbaya, you know, let's come together. Fuck,
I agree.
over.
I
You just
agree.
gotta find a
But
group
it's
of people that's for you and stick to it and let the other motherfuckers do their thing
yeah.
because
There you
it
go.
ain't got shit to do with me because I don't agree with that life. There's so many other motherfuckers in this world. It's way more black people in the world than it is white. That is why they want the abortions to stop, honestly, because they are getting way more abortions than us. But yet we sitting up here thinking we the minority, like that one lady who commented saying it's more white people in the world than blacks. No, it's not.
Well, this is the thing. If you look at it statistically, it is. This is what I mean.
Oh, you
Yeah.
talking about out in the world and not in prison.
It is.
No, I'm talking
It
about
is.
in America.
America.
Because you got to
Oh,
understand,
in
first and
America,
foremost.
I'm talking about in
Yeah.
the world. In the world, it is way more of us.
Now, this is the thing. I don't consider them motherfuckers black.
They
I don't consider them black.
you put us all
I
together,
consider
they
them.
don't give a fuck who speak what and where you from. They still gonna fucking.
No, they actually do. If you take your ass to some countries in Africa, you're gonna see a whole different type of it's not even gonna be, I don't even know if you can even call it race, prejudice. You're gonna see a prejudice that's something totally different. If you take your ass over to all I gotta do, because in Africa they got what 150 some goddamn countries over that way. So you go over there, you go to South Africa, you see a different type of land over there. You go to North Africa, you see West Africa, you will see something different. Them people are this close together and they're all different. When you come over, that's why I wouldn't consider myself like in my consensus of being black. Nope. In our consensus here and what black is, first and foremost, that's why I said we have to have a consensus of what black is. Everybody can't be us because we're Americans and we have a unique way of how we came to this country. Unique. Even though you had all these other slaves, but you got to understand, this is the country that we had the most striving at. We strived here. You got doctors and lawyers, and you got people that's in the system now. This is why it's so fucked up now, because you got one group of people that say we made it, and the other group of people say, no, it's still fucked up. And we can't come to a consensus with each other.
We don't have
Just
to.
like when it comes down, we do.
No,
this
we
is
don't.
how we. Why not?
Listen, you think I give a fuck? And this might sound fucked up, but you think I give a fuck about some motherfuckers in the projects that don't even give a fuck about their conditions, that don't care, that's stuck, that's gonna keep doing the same shit, that want to stay on the system? Leave them there. I'm getting the fuck on. I'm going to another group. I'm
now watch
affiliate myself with other people. I can fuck about them. This is my life.
No, listen. I understand that, and I agree with that part, but this is the thing. The reason why I say we have to have a consensus is for the simple fact that if we sit back and say, look, this is what we are as black people. This is our pride as being black folks.
We've been doing that for years.
No, we ain't did none of this shit. Once we get to a point of having a standard, and when you have some people that don't meet that standard, that's exactly what you just said. We don't give a fuck about you. A different type of person. You ain't for your community. You want to know
something though? I really learned something. Even though we first were Republicans anyway, I'm a Republican at heart because I'm not about to sit up here and help the poor when they don't want shit. Most of them don't.
Yeah, I can see every side of this.
So
This
why
is why
should
it's
we
very
have to
important
sit
to have
here
that
and say
conversation.
let's get on the
I can
same level as a race when honestly the people that want to stay there, they're gonna stay. The racist white people that want to stay racist, they're gonna stay. The ones that aren't, they're not. You just go in life and attract the things that's gonna come to you. Because I really can't honestly give a fuck about anybody else. I'm gonna be so honest, and this might sound so fucked up. I don't get like this topic was honestly, do we value kids? Yes, we do, but I'm not putting a child before me if it's not my child. Okay, and that means a relationship, that means anything. So when you say that we got to come together, we got to get on one accord, we know we have to figure this out. No, we don't.
no. I didn't say we have to come together and figure this out. This is what I
So that's
said.
what I was saying.
We have to come to a. We have to come to a. You have to come to a consensus. The reason why I say a consensus is this: anybody that's melanin, we would call them fucking black. That's dumb as fuck. Anybody, it's fucked up that we can sit back and say she act black, act black, and when we see what acting black is, can either one of y'all tell me if the shit is positive when a person act
They can
black?
act
When
like
they
they're
say
black.
it, when you hear a person responding to that, is it a positive thing?
Yes, it's not always.
It's positive when they refer to a person
You want to
acting
know
black.
people say act white?
I've never
Okay,
heard
let
that.
me ask you this. Let me ask you, is it negative when somebody say you act white?
Yes, it is to me. Because when we perceive it, and I get this all the time, and I take it as negative because I can't talk like I'm educated because black people gonna say I think I'm better. I'm already light skinned. Then the way I talk, I take that negative. Okay. But when we as black people say that she is talking black or she or he sounds like a black person or they act black, it could just be the way they say words, how we say slang words, how we talk. We talk different. You know, if it comes
Or the
to that,
ignorant shit
yeah.
people do?
But if we see we see a white person acting ghetto, dressing like, they don't give a fuck and got their hair like ours and braids, we gonna be like, damn, what the fuck? And that's like an insult. It's like negative when it comes to that. But it's all how you perceive it. Because me, when I get called that I'm acting white, I don't like it.
But
I know what they mean when they say it, but it can be different, like different things. Like, oh, you're proper, or I like when people just say I act proper, or that's better to me. But when I say to another black person, you act white, I would never say that. I would never say. I would just say like you're very educated, or you're very well mannered, or nothing pertaining to you got to be another race, because I hate it. But then when we see white people talking like us, they might have grew up in the hood. I got a best friend that's half white. Her mama don't sound like a typical white woman. She sounds like a black woman.
but but still, ain't that fucked up though? Like we shouldn't be categorizing people of fucking like who they act like this or they act like that. Like no, fuck. Like it's like you act like a person. Like we're
Right.
human beings. That's what fucking
I
bothers
I
me.
I
I have people
yeah.
fucking. I used to get talked about as a kid. Like, oh yeah, I dress like a white boy sometimes. So or sometimes I might. No, I ain't got it all. I act like a white person one day, and then I act like a nigga the next day. It's like all these fucking stereotypes that, and the most of the stereotypes I get it from is our own people.
Yeah,
You know what
we
I'm saying?
comes from us though, because we're the ones who start separating the mulattoes, the dark skin, the darkies, like red bone, yellow bone, all of that. It came from us literally diversing ourselves from each other. So,
Right. So that's why I was saying, because I mean, this is the thing. Stereotypes are stereotypes.
mhm.
True.
And it is what it is. When you observe the world, when we observe each other, it is what it is. That's what stereotypes come from. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just what it is. So when you hear, this is why when I was saying, going back to the whole thing of when you acting black, somebody said they acting black. I've never heard anybody refer to it as something that is something positive. It's like even and it's funny when you would see like white cats They want to be in the black community, and then they start holding these so-called attributes that black people do. What do? They start talking, more like with broken English,
But
a
if you go
southern
out,
accent.
you go
What
somewhere
up,
else.
shawty? You ever seen a white person? I didn't hear you. Say what?
I said when you go to a different region of the world, you're gonna talk like the place that you're.
No. That's
You're
not.
gonna
Those are not the
talk.
people I'm talking about.
No, I'm
Those are not
serious.
the people.
I'm being so honest. Like my friends that have traveled and everything, they will live in a certain state. And I'm like, girl, you talk just like them now. Or
No. I get that part. I ain't talking about them. That's not the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the motherfuckers that literally try to be that.
oh
For
yeah, that's
instance,
the difference.
there's
I'm
a
talking about like
there's a
people who haven't. They grew up in our neighborhoods, and we
right.
damn,
So
you
these
sound
are the
black, you
people.
talk black.
Yeah, no. When you can, you talk from where you from naturally. Yes, I definitely get that. Those ain't the people I'm talking about. For instance, there's a podcast called Fresh and Fit.
Mm-hmm.
They would have these women that's on there, Latinos, and even them damn what you call the Indians, the ones from India. You would hear them because they say, "Well, I hear how you talk. I can tell that you fuck with what they call it, BBCs."
BBCs, yeah.
You'll see white women that be out there and they be like, you know what I'm saying? And they be talking and you be like, they trying their ass. So we know when a motherfucker is just trying.
Yeah.
Then a motherfucker that just when you around. That's what I mean. And every time that they do it, even when this is some fucked up shit I'm about to say, but I'm about to do it.
Say it.
When you see a white girl and the majority of her fucking friends are black girls, how does she act?
She act black.
Not all the time.
And what does that mean?
No.
I've never seen a white girl that had the majority of motherfucking black
it's not
girls
like
and she don't sit
all
there
the-
and do that bullshit.
It's not
I've
all the
seen that
time.
shit.
I mean, I haven't. I see some people that just be themselves and they will prefer. I know a lot of white people that don't like white people, but
No,
as white,
yeah, that's why we always say it's more them than it is us. Because at least they would sit back and say, at least they'll sit back and say, nigga, I'm not fucking with that person right there.
But you like,
that's why you would have a certain amount of you have like this is where the word trailer trash come from. This is where the word redneck come from. It's all of these different things. That's them. And that's how they do their people. It's kind of like the same here, but we make everybody us. Like I said, you see a white girl and she hang around nothing but black girls. The way that she act is terrible. Twerking all the goddamn time.
I gotta disagree with you
Bad
on
Baby.
that. I'm sorry.
Who is Bad Baby? Y'all know who Bad Baby is?
Oh, yeah,
the Cast Me Outside girl.
Yeah, she was on Dr. Phil.
On Dr. Phil. She was hanging around all them goddamn black girls. What about the other girl?
But you gotta
the one
think about
she
how
had
her
the gold
mama
teeth.
is too, and this is like what.
And her mama hung around black people.
But that's the thing, though. You got some white folks that just don't like white people, and they grew up around us. Our culture is contagious.
And we supposed to be the same way. We should not like the goddamn, but when we sit back and call out the behavior of other black people, we hate them.
Yeah, we hate them. We get called coon, all this other shit.
I don't think that's acting black. And when I see black people acting what you would call white, I don't even think that's it either. I just think that's just...
No, I was going to give you the rest. No. You ever seen a black woman? The majority of her friends are white. She has a white man. How does she act? She talk with articulation.
Mm-hmm.
She got dreads, short hair. She have her own motherfucking hair, and she talks with articulation. This is something that I've observed. So what's wrong with that? I said, "Damn, this is fucked up."
What's wrong with that?
I'm only pointing it out. Listen what I said. When you see the black, because I was asking, it went to the question that I said earlier. Mm-hmm. What is being black? Acting black, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, when you see the white girl and the majority of her friends are black girls, she start acting like them. And 9 times out of 10, she doing all the bullshit. All the shit that we saying that ain't twerking. She got a motherfucking, her boyfriend even fucked up. This nigga is a thug ass nigga.
I really don't.
She visiting this nigga in jail.
Girls that hang with us, and they don't start acting different when they're around us. I be hanging out with all white girls sometimes.
No. I'm not
And I'm
saying.
still be
I'm not saying
myself.
just
No,
you.
I'm saying like maybe
No, I'm
I
not.
You
just
talking
haven't been
about in
able to be
general?
out in the world enough around to actually see that it's people that hang with other races and they literally stick to who they are. And that's why
I understand that, but I'm speaking of. I'm speaking in general. I understand. There's outliers. I know outliers. That's not what I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on the rule, not the
the rule
exception.
of what?
From what I was just saying, whenever time you see a white girl hang around, the majority of her friends
So
are
the
black,
rule is for her to
boyfriend black, and her ass do some of the most craziest. You can just look at all the shit on motherfucking on YouTube. You can see the shit.
I
I mean, it's just fucked up. When you see the black chick and the majority of her friends are white, you see a different type of behavior.
Honestly, the black people that I know that act like that, they grew up around white people. And that they don't even know nothing about the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we react, how we talk with our eyes and our bodies.
No,
They don't
I'm
know
what I'm
that.
saying is
They
that
didn't even grow up with us. So when you do see a black person that's around a bunch of white people and have nothing but white friends and a white husband, she probably don't even know her people because her people.
no, I'm not counting out. I'm not calling it out as negative. What I'm saying is that it goes back to the question that I was saying.
What was the question?
Acting black and acting white. If you want to see how that shit is, how fucked up it is, you look at a white person that has the majority of black friends, and then you see a black person that have the majority of white friends. You see more negativity in that white. They more negative than the black people they hanging around with. When you look in the ones that hang around the white people, these motherfuckers is flourishing. They talking about different shit, stocks and bonds. Yeah. These motherfuckers even dress different. That's what I mean. And what I'm saying is that at some point we have to, and it goes back to what you said earlier, being proud of being black, being able to have unity with your community.
But wait,
you already spoke on it yourself. You said it. We fucked up.
Hold on. So a white person hanging around black people, you never saw a white person hanging around some black folks and start thriving?
In what way?
In any way. You never saw a white person start hanging with black people?
And in the majority of their friends, and the majority of their friends are black? I have never seen it. Ever.
That's crazy. Okay.
Ever. I live in
So
Detroit.
You just saying we just us as a whole.
I live in the Metro Detroit area. I've been born and raised in Detroit.
We as a whole ain't shit. So you can't say when I said earlier I could give a fuck about what anybody else is doing, but you think that white people coming around us, this is why white people don't like our ass, because exactly what you just said, they're not gonna come around us and succeed.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I don't have that too. I can agree with that. I can agree with that being yes. I can agree with what you just said. Yes. That's why. Yeah. I feel to the point because it goes to what you had said.
I don't want to be around the.
You ain't the only one that think that way. Most black people like I'm tired of fucking around with y'all.
I did not say what you said.
No, I'm talking about what you had said earlier. Our community is fucked.
It's fucked up. In the hood.
It's a done deal.
The people who get out the hood and the people that don't want to stay in that circumstances, they take themselves away because they know it ain't no change in it. But if a white person comes around me, they're going to succeed. They're going to learn something because I'm just that black person that's just not taking the average.
But you're making it subjective. I'm speaking in generalities.
In general, you can learn a lot from black people. Because
you can, but is it this is the thing. The balance of probability and what I'm telling you, when you look at it in general,
learn from each other. Like
we can learn from each other.
Race that
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in general, when you see it, listen, east side of Detroit.
Yeah.
You ever seen a white person on the east side of Detroit, dog? They hang around and all their friends is motherfucking black.
Yeah.
You ever seen how that nigga is?
Yes.
He upstanding citizen, right?
No. Yes.
No.
Yeah. No.
That nigga been in county like motherfucker,
Yeah.
and
I don't
he's
know.
sitting there, got tattoos all on his. I'm telling you, the
No.
average motherfucker that does that, and he in the hood, you be looking like Southwest Detroit. Ain't shit but black, whites, and Mexicans in that
Because I know
motherfucker.
plenty of white people that grew up in the same neighborhood as me with nothing but black friends, and they all succeeded, including that white person. So no, I'm
But succeeded how?
because
Like,
ain't no way in hell you telling me ain't shit positive coming out my fucking hood, because it is. It's the ones that want to.
so what's the positive? That's what I'm saying.
And the
What's
white
the
people,
positive?
yeah, but see, you can act black all you want to. I don't give a fuck. I don't.
But what's the positive? What's the
The
positive?
positive is that these white people actually get to be around us and grow with us, and they actually know us. So then when they get around other white people, they can say, hell no, that's not all black people.
This is my whole thing. I don't look at anything. This is how I look at things. I look at the world as being everything. Racist. It's motherfucking sexist. The world is what it fucking is.
Mhm.
It does not skew my view on myself or my family.
Right.
I see them for what I see them for.
Mhm.
But at some point, you have to say, hey, as I observe this world, I see a lot of bullshit with my people.
Mhm.
I can give a fuck. And if I consider my people, specifically black, then I know that there's a motherfucking issue.
Yeah, but you know, it's
Again,
a lot. We the second richest race.
we are not the
No,
second richest
Second
race. We're
richest.
we're
America,
the
when it
first
comes-
poorest
I
race.
just saw this. This is way the second richest, because you know Jews is considered white, man. Like, come on now. They consider white. But we are the so-called second richest
Don't
race.
tell a Jewish person that.
No, we are the most. This is
Yeah,
the
don't-
thing. We are the most consumers. We are not the
But
second richest
that's
at all. First and foremost, we can't even be in that category.
damn. Like, where
Because
you be reading stuff at?